1:15. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here is the news edited by Lal Malavarachi and read by Indrani Senanayake. The headlines. The vote on the no-confidence motion against Health Minister Keheliya Rambukwella is scheduled for this evening. The President stresses that the educational policies of the country will be brought under one single legal framework. Heavy showers of about 100 millimeters are possible in parts of the western and Sabaragama provinces today. The cabinet approval is sought to transform the railway department into a corporation. The Kalani Valley Railway Line renovation project was started yesterday. In foreign news, Hong Kong and southern China battles widespread flooding from record rains. The vote on the no-confidence motion against Health Minister Keheliya Rambukwella, moved by the opposition, is scheduled for this evening following a 3-day debate. In the event, the Parliament resolves that Rambukwella has neglected his fundamental duties and acted to ruin the safe health services available for the people, and that it has no confidence in the competence of Rambukwella to function as the Health Minister, he will be stripped of his position. The parliamentary session began at 9:30 a.m. today. The relevant vote will take place at 5:30 p.m. The motion of no confidence against the Health Minister was handed over to Speaker Mahinda Yapa Abewardena by main opposition Samagi Jana Balavega's General Secretary Randit Madhuma Bandara and MP Kavinda Jayawardena on the 21st of July. The motion was moved over the alleged irresponsible importation of substandard medicines and surgical equipment, which weakened the health sector and caused the deaths of several patients receiving treatment at state hospitals. President Ranil Wickremesinghe stresses that the educational policies of the country will be brought under one single legal framework, without leaving space for any government or ministers to change them in an ad hoc manner. To steer the bankrupt country towards prosperity again, a new systematic education policy should be introduced to the country. The President made these remarks at a ceremony held yesterday to mark the 150th anniversary of the Appavela Siddhartha Central College. The government's aim is to create an exemplary education system in Sri Lanka. The Irrigation Department says the water levels of the Kudaganga and Nilwala River are now on the rise as heavy rainfall continues. According to the department's report issued on water levels and rainfall situation in major rivers, the water levels of these two water bodies have reached minor flood levels. Meanwhile, the Met Department has warned that heavy showers of about 100 millimeters are possible in parts of the western and Sabaragama provinces, as well as in the Galle, Matharaputhalam and Nuwara districts. Due to the active southwest monsoon conditions over the island, the southwestern parts of the island are likely to continue to experience torrential rainfall, the Met Department said further in its advisory. Meanwhile, the National Building Research Organisation has issued an amber landslide early warning for several areas in the Kaluthara and Ratnapura districts. Accordingly, people living in these areas are urged to be on alert about the possibility of landslides, slope failures, rockfalls and ground subsidence. This news comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
Next Gen Lifestyle set agum Digital Banking Partner People's Bank.
We continue with local news. Transport and Highways Minister Bandula Gunawardena says that the government has initiated discussions for the conversion of the Department of Railways to a public corporation as part of the process of reforming the state-owned enterprises. The minister also stated that cabinet approval is sought in this regard. A public corporation or a statutory corporation is operated on a commercial basis and governed by a chairman and a board of directors. The department does not possess commercial qualities as such and is directly controlled by the government. The Minister of Transport and Highways said that the Department of Railways had been run at an annual loss of 10 billion rupees during the past, and its commercial viability should be improved to make it more passenger friendly. Meanwhile, the Kalani Valley Railway line renovation project was started yesterday at the Homagama railway station premises under the patronage of the Minister, Dr. Bandula Gunawardena. This repair project will be carried out using the functional parts including rails removed from the northern lines, which is currently being developed. The project is expected to be completed within 2 years. To repair the 59-kilometer-long KV line from Maradanu to Sitavaka, 2,359 rails and 25,728 concrete sleepers will be used, and the estimated cost is in the region of 1.27 billion rupees. The Minister of Power and Energy states that the electricity sector projects developed with the financial and technical assistance of the Japanese government and the Japan International Cooperation Agency, JICA, were reviewed recently. Minister of Power and Energy Kanchana Wijesekara said they discussed the ongoing project progress. Recommenced of projects interrupted due to the financial crisis, future projects for renewable energy integration, technical assistance and technology for energy projects. Assistance extended through the Reform Secretariat for Ceylon Electricity Board, reforms, future generation plans and government policies. Deputy Ambassador for Japan to Sri Lanka, Chief Representative for JICA in Sri Lanka, officials of the Japanese Embassy and officials of the Ministry of Power and Energy and the CEB participated in the discussions. That ends the local segment of news.
Enjoy seamless shopping. Open LCs, settle bills and transfer funds instantly, anywhere and anytime. With People's Bank Digital Solutions, you're empowered to do more, whenever and wherever you want. Unlock a world of modern banking conveniences with People's Bank, your next generation digital banking partner. People's Bank.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
The bill to establish a National Commission for Women will be submitted to the Parliament very soon, says MP Dr. Sudarshini Fernandopulle, the chairperson of the Women Parliamentarians Caucus. In addition, 2 bills on gender equality and women's empowerment are also ready to be tabled in Parliament. She made these remarks recently during a special virtual discussion with Ms. Vanushi Walters, who is a member of the New Zealand Parliament and of Sri Lankan origin. Dr. Fernandopulle further stated that the position of the Minister of Women, Child Affairs and Social Empowerment is currently held by President Ranil Wickremesinghe, and that the head of the state has great interest in working for the betterment of women and children in Sri Lanka. Moreover, the need to encourage women to join politics was discussed at this meeting.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
We now take a look at Watchlight. State Minister Geeta Kumarasinghe says steps will be taken to curb the practice of using women and children to beg. The State Minister also said she will hold preliminary discussions with relevant institutions, including the police, local authorities and the National Child Protection Authority, to curb this situation. The matter was discussed when the Ministerial Consultative Committee on Women's, Children's Affairs and Social Empowerment met in Parliament recently. The general public is requested to not encourage begging.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
It's the power to live life your way. The power to be a trendsetter. Power to you with digital banking from Commercial Bank. Commercial Bank. Our interest is in you.
World News, the headlines first. Hong Kong and southern China battle widespread flooding from record rains. At least 49 civilians reported dead in attack on riverboat in Mali. Ezra Collective become first jazz winners of Mercury Music Prize. Hong Kong and southern Chinese cities are battling widespread flooding as the region endures some of its heaviest rainfall on record. Today, streets and subway stations were underwater in Hong Kong as officials shut schools and workplaces. The Weather Bureau said the downpour, which began yesterday, is the biggest to hit the city in nearly 140 years. Authorities have had to conduct several rescues, while pictures showed locals wading through flooded streets. Islamist militants have attacked a riverboat in northeastern Mali, killing at least 49 civilians, the interim government says. They also reportedly attacked an army camp, killing 15 soldiers, while around 50 militants are said to have died. The government has declared 3 days of national mourning. The Islamist threat has been growing despite claims by the military that Russian Wagner Group mercenaries are turning the tide of their campaign. Ezra Collective have become the first jazz act to win the Mercury Prize with their album Where I'm Meant to Be. The prestigious £25,000 prize celebrates the best British or Irish album of the last 12 months. The quintet held off competition from fellow nominees Jessie Ware, Jay Huss, Arctic Monkeys, Fred Again and Ray. Accepting the award, drummer Femi Kolesko said the group represents something very special because we met in a youth club. To end this bulletin of world news, the headlines again. Analysts say Russia failed. At least 49 civilians reported dead in attack on riverboat in Mali. Ezra Collective become first jazz winners of Mercury Music Prize. That ends this bulletin of world news.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
This message is for all the kids between the ages of 4 and 16 who love to draw. Commercial Bank's Arunalu Sittam is back once again. This time, the competition is also open to Sri Lankan kids currently living abroad. First, second and third place prizes will be awarded along with special merit and merit certificates. For more information, visit the Commercial Bank website. We have so many prizes to be won.
Development News is brought to you by
Job opportunities for well-experienced housemaids and home cooks in Saudi Arabia and Kuwait for ages 40 to 58 years. Salary 125,000 rupees. Contact 037 7500 500.
On to development news. Sri Lanka tourism will pass the 1 million arrivals mark in September this year, according to an official from the Sri Lanka Tourism Development Authority. Arrivals by the end of August 2023 were at 927,214, overrunning the total arrival figure for last year, which was 719,978. Tourist arrivals from September the 1st to the 6th were recorded as 22,896, and we expect the total arrivals from this month to pass the 125,000 mark, which will allow the country to pass the 1 million arrival mark. Sri Lanka expects to get 1.5 million arrivals for 2023 and a revenue in excess of $2.55 billion.
Job opportunities for women from Deshakti Lanka in Saudi Arabia, Kuwait and Oman. Housemaids and home cooks in Saudi Arabia, ages 40 to 58 years. Arabic speaking and well experienced home cooks. Salary 125,000 rupees. Interviews are now on with foreign agents. You can travel overseas free of charge now. Branches Colombo, Kurunegala, Anuradhapura and Matara. Contact number 0377 500 500. Deshakti Lanka Foreign Employment Agency.
On to sports news. The SeaTag Rugby 7-a-side tournament will be held on the 16th of this month at the CRNFC grounds at Longden Place. 16 teams, combining past students of brother and sister schools, relive their rugby glory days of the past. A day of absolute fun is planned out in a carnival atmosphere, with street food, a children's play area and non-stop music. Starting from 1 p.m. and going on until midnight, there will be 44 games in total, including exhibition games played before the bowl finals, which are scheduled for 7:30 p.m., with the plate finals and cup finals played thereafter. That was sports news.
Go ekakthiyana youth ekat life eke change ekat niyameta set wenna as wahagena dakapu hina habe karanna youth ekat niyameta set wenna friendship එක menna.
The all new NSB Ithru Mithru account. NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The regional manager of Sri Lankan Airlines for India, Bangladesh and Nepal says the government is in talks with many private companies and airlines as it prepares to privatize the Sri Lankan Airlines. Emirates and the Indian conglomerates Tata Sons and Adani Group have expressed willingness for this venture. That was Business News.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
Go ekak thiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු ගින හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru Mithru account. NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
On to economic news. Chairman of the Tea Exporters Association of Sri Lanka, Ganesh Daivanagam, says Sri Lanka specializes in unique tea blends, helping it to excel in the marketplace. The average FOB price for Sri Lankan tea is $5.10 per kilogram compared to India's $3.58 and Kenya's $2.60. Sri Lanka has achieved this feat through relentless pursuit, breaking global barriers, innovating and taking risks. He also emphasized that Sri Lanka's tea blending, packaging, flavoring and value addition are significantly ahead of its competitors. That was economic news.
Weather report.
And finally, we take a look at the weather report. Showers or thunder showers will occur at times in the western, Sabaragamu and northwestern provinces and in the Kandy, Nuwara, Galle and Mathura districts. Fairly heavy showers above 50 millimeters are likely at some places in the western and Sabaragamu provinces and in the Puttalam, Galle and Mathura districts. Several spells of showers may occur in the Anuradhapura and Hambantota districts. Showers or thunder showers will occur at a few places in the Uva province and in the Batticaloa and Ampara districts during the evening or at night. To end this afternoon's news broadcast, the headlines again. The vote on the no-confidence motion against Health Minister Kehelia Ramokwela is scheduled for this evening. The President stresses that the educational policies of the country will be brought under one single legal framework. Heavy showers of about 100 millimeters are possible in parts of the western and Sabaragamu provinces today. The cabinet approval is sought to transform the railway department into a corporation. The Kalani Valley Railway line renovation project was started yesterday. In foreign news, Hong Kong and southern China battles widespread flooding from record rains. And that ends this afternoon's news broadcast. 33 minutes past 1 o'clock. This is Radio Sri Lanka, and as usual, your very dear friend and mine too, Geethanjali Ramanayaka, all set and ready, or she's been with you from 10 o'clock this morning and will continue until 2 o'clock. So let's wish her nothing but the very best indeed, and every single one of you tuned in, all the very best indeed for the weekend and the coming week alike. We hope it'll be a very pleasant one for all of you. Geethanjali, especially for you, my dear friend.